to CIA Declassified. Today, we look at the moment the agency tried to outrun the speed of light. In the world of physics, Einstein established a universal speed limit. Nothing travels faster than the speed of light. But the CIA was never fond of limits. If they could send an intelligence report from Moscow to Langley instantaneously, the Cold War would be over in a heartbeat. To do it, they turned to a man who claimed his mind didn't care about distance or time. This was the investigation into Harold Sherman. This was the HS Protocol. The HS Protocol wasn't just a study of a psychic, it was an attempt to engineer a superluminal telegraph. The HS Protocol refers to the agency's multi-year monitoring and testing of Harold Sherman, a psychic researcher who claimed to have conducted successful long-distance telepathy experiments during the Wilkins Arctic expedition. A quote from a declassified CIA memorandum on parapsychology. If the Sherman effect is replicable, it suggests a medium of communication that bypasses the electromagnetic spectrum entirely. End quote. In the late 1930s, Sherman remained in New York and attempted to receive mental images from explorer Sir Hubert Wilkins, who was thousands of miles away in the Arctic. The CIA's Office of Research and Development analyzed Sherman's logs, noting an 80% accuracy rate on specific details that had not been transmitted via radio. Project Stargate and its predecessors investigated the inverse square law as it applied to telepathy, finding that distance did not seem to degrade the signal. A quote from a 1972 Scan8 report. We have an episode on that as well. I don't remember if it's Operation or Project Scan8. Current data indicates that the mental wave travels at a velocity that is at least instantaneous, if not predictive, end quote. Harold Sherman described the process as tuning the brain like a radio to a specific frequency that exists outside of three-dimensional space. The agency tested Sherman in lead-shielded Faraday cages to see if the telepathic signal was blocked by electromagnetic barriers. It was not. Project researchers collaborated with physicists to explore quantum entanglement as a potential scientific explanation for Sherman's abilities. A quote, this is from Harold Sherman, Thoughts Through Space. There is no such thing as distance to the mind. The light of a star reaches us in years, but a thought reaches it in nothing. End quote. The agency documented time displacement incidents where Sherman reportedly received information about an event minutes before it actually occurred. The HS protocol included the development of mental cipher codes where thoughts were translated into binary for secure transmission. Harold Sherman was subjected to EEG monitoring during his transmissions, which showed a unique alpha-theta bridge wave pattern. Operational interest peaked when Sherman correctly identified the interior of a Soviet nuclear facility using only coordinates provided by the agency. A quote from a declassified Office of Strategic Services report, the potential for a secure, non-traceable, and zero-latency communication channel is of the highest strategic priority. End quote. Sherman claimed that the telepathic signal was carried on a medium he called the ether, a concept rejected by modern physics but embraced by agency occult researchers. The CIA attempted to standardize Sherman's methods to create a training manual for elite field officers, codenamed Project Bluebird. I think we have an episode on that as well. We may not. If we don't, it's coming up. Testing involved double-blind protocols where Sherman had to receive data from a transmitter located in a deep underground bunker. The HS protocol files were integrated into the broader MK Ultra umbrella under the sub-project for extrasensory perception. A quote from physicist and CIA consultant Dr. Harold Putoff. We are looking at a fundamental property of consciousness that the current laws of physics cannot yet account for. End quote. Agency records from 1974 indicate that Sherman was tasked with attempting a mental intrusion on the mind of a high-ranking Chinese military official to determine if the superliminal signal could be used to intercept internal monologues. A quote from a declassified Project Stargate document: information obtained via the HS effect often presents as symbolic imagery rather than direct speech, requiring a specialized linguistic filter for interpretation. End quote. The agency investigated the use of cerebral amplifiers, electronic helmets designed to boost the signal-to-noise ratio of Sherman's telepathic receptions. Harold Sherman participated in a series of submarine tests where he attempted to transmit coordinates to a submerged vessel beneath the polar ice cap, successfully bypassing the water's natural dampening of radio waves. A quote from Dr. J.B. Rhine, a parapsychology pioneer: the work on the HS protocol suggests that the human brain may be a transducer for energy forms we have yet to name, let alone measure. End quote. While the Arctic experiments are public, the 1974 validation series in the HS protocol is completely blacked out. Redacted. The only legible words are superliminal echo. Get ready for the theory of the instant intelligence. Speculation suggests that the HS protocol actually succeeded in building a telepathic telegraph, and the black redactions hide the messages they've been receiving from the future since 1974. What if Harold Sherman wasn't human? A dark rumor suggests the CIA discovered he was a biological relay left behind by a galactic civilization, making his brain the only superluminal transmitter on Earth. Could the agency be tuning into the astral radio? Speculation suggests the HS protocol files hide the schematics for a device that uses the human pineal gland to intercept thoughts across the solar system, and the redactions hide the first words ever heard from Mars. Whispers from the labs suggest the Sherman effect isn't telepathy but a physical doorway. The theory claims the redactions hide the discovery of tachyons, particles that only move backward in time, and that Sherman was actually hearing the past before it happened. What if our thoughts are a shared hard drive? Speculation suggests the black bars hide the Akashic access, where the agency realized Sherman was tapping into a universal field of every human memory ever recorded. Brace for the echo of the dead. Some claim the HS protocol wasn't talking to the living, but using the superluminal signal to interrogate dead Soviet scientists, and the redactions hide the afterlife intelligence transcripts. Could the agency be mental hijacking? A wild rumor suggests the redactions hide a plan to use Sherman's brain as a master server to broadcast thoughts into the minds of foreign leaders, turning telepathy into mind control. Some believe the redactions hide the binary soul. Speculation posits that the CIA found a way to digitize Sherman's psychic signal, and the black bars hide the server where his mental copy is still working for the agency today. Beware the theory of the beacon. It claims that every time Sherman sent a signal, he was giving away Earth's location to something in the deep dark, and the redactions hide the threat assessment of what is now coming for us. Some speculate the black bars hide the speed of God. The theory is that the HS protocol proved that the universe is conscious, and the redactions are the records of the agency trying to hack the creator. Brace for the event horizon theory. Some whisper the redactions hide evidence that Sherman's mind accidentally created a miniature black hole in the Langley basement, and the black bars are there to hide the fact that the original headquarters were sucked in and replaced by a duplicate. Could your dreams be a CIA data dump? Speculation suggests the redactions hide Operation Sleep Talker, a plan where the superluminal signal was used to store encrypted files in the subconscious minds of unsuspecting citizens, and the black bars hide the password keys found in people's nightmares. Listen closely to the temporal anchor theory. It claims Sherman wasn't just receiving signals, but was actually pinning our timeline to a specific point in space to prevent it from drifting, and the redactions hide the drift rate of our reality. What if the Soviets were ahead? A dark rumor suggests the redactions hide the transcripts of a psychic war where Sherman battled a Soviet telepath in a non-physical realm, and the black bars hide the casualties from this war. Finally, lastly, some believe the redactions hide the Alpha Omega log. Speculation posits the agency used Sherman to eavesdrop on the collective unconscious of the entire human race to find out the exact date of the apocalypse, and the black bars are hiding the countdown clock. Was the HS protocol a success? Conceptually, it was a breakthrough. The agency proved that information transfer could occur without a traditional physical medium. However, operationally, it was a failure. The signal was too dependent on the artist, Sherman himself. They could never build a machine to replace him, and as Sherman aged, the superluminal signal became too noisy and unreliable for high-stakes espionage. The search for the etheric echo changed how we look at communication. As far as operational breakthroughs go, remote viewing protocols, the formalization of coordinate remote viewing, CRV, which is still used in niche intelligence circles today, quantum biophotonics, research into the low-level light emissions from human cells that may act as a signal carrier. Neural synchronization, the discovery that two people in deep rapport show identical brainwave patterns across vast distances, and zero latency encryption, theoretical work on codes that don't require a physical key to be transmitted, but rather a shared mental state. The HS protocol reminds us that the mind is the final frontier. If the agency is right and thoughts travel faster than light, then every secret you've ever had has already been heard by the stars. Thanks for listening. Join us next time as we examine a more recent declassified project, Project Packaged Famine. The agency didn't just target soldiers, they targeted the soil. We'll uncover a 2025 declassified Army and CIA project focused on agricultural sabotage. We'll look at how they packaged specific rust fungi pathogens designed to activate only when they touch the exact fertilizer used by the enemy. Join us next time for The Bread of Sorrows. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.